When F-16 Falcons ruled the sky, they once believed the sky was just an open field, a broken bar, a place where power came only from numbers. But one day, a single fighter jet proved them all wrong. This is the story of the F-16 Fighting Falcon, a machine that was not just a jet but an idea, a fear, and a silent hunter. When the F-16 was first introduced to the world, many military experts laughed. They said it was too light, too dependent on electronics, not built for real war. They believed heavy jets were stronger. They believed size meant power. They believed the F-16 was just an experiment. What they didn't know was that this experiment would one day rewrite the rules of the sky. The birth of a different idea in the 1970s. As the world lived under the shadow of the Cold War, America needed a new kind of fighter jet. A jet that was fast, agile, and felt like a natural extension of the pilot. Older jets were heavy and complex. Pilots had to fight the machine as much as the enemy. The idea behind the F-16 was simple. The jet should work for the pilot, not the other way around. That's why, for the first time, fly-by-wire systems were introduced, side-stick controls replaced traditional ones, and the cockpit became highly responsive. The most shocking decision of all, the F-16 was designed to be intentionally unstable. People were stunned. An unstable jet will crash, they said. But engineers knew the truth. Instability meant extreme maneuverability, and computers would keep it under control. This jet could think faster than humans. First flight, quiet reactions when the F-16 touched the sky for the first time. There were no celebrations, no global headlines. But the pilots who flew it knew immediately that this aircraft was different. It turned as if the air itself was part of its body. It accelerated without effort. And most importantly, it gave the pilot an advantage. But the real test was yet to come. When war called, a fighter jet is never truly tested in laboratories. Its real test begins in war. As regional conflicts intensified in the 1980s, the F-16 entered real combat. The enemy also had fighter jets, a larger, heavier, and on paper, more powerful. Enemy pilots believed the F-16 would be easy prey. What they didn't realize was that a Falcon doesn't chase blindly, it chooses its target. First encounter in the sky, radar screens came alive. Targets closed in rapidly. Two forces moved toward each other. Inside the cockpit, the F-16 pilot was calm. Clear digital displays, simple controls, and a jet that responded instantly. The enemy approached with confidence. They expected a simple fight. But the moment the first turn was made, everything changed. What a dogfight really means. A dogfight isn't just about speed. It's about angles, timing, and decisions made in a single second. The F-16 took angles other jets couldn't even imagine. High G-turns. Rapid climbs. Sudden dives. The heavier enemy jet couldn't keep up. And in that moment, the hunter recognized its prey. Visual lock achieved. The missile was ready. The tone was steady. But the pilot waited. Because the F-16 wasn't built just to kill, it was built to dominate. The enemy pilot panicked. Emergency maneuvers followed. But the F-16 stayed one step ahead, as if it had already read the story written in the sky. The first explosion, the sky flashed. A violent burst of light. Then a silence. One radar contact disappeared. This wasn't just a jet being shot down. It was a message. To those who underestimated the F-16. To those who called it weak. This was only the beginning. Fear spreads in the battles that followed. A pattern emerged. Wherever the F-16 appeared, enemy pilots grew cautious. They avoided engagements. They retreated, because they had heard the warning, the Falcon is in the air. And when the Falcon is above, hawks look down. More than just a jet with time, the F-16 became more than an aircraft. It became a reputation. Enemy briefings mentioned it by name. Pilots were warned, avoid dogfighting the F-16, because they know this jet did not forgive mistakes. Because the F-16 was no longer a lone hunt, it had become the centerpiece of the battlefield. A changing sky. As the F-16's reputation spread, enemy air forces changed their tactics. No more single aircraft. Now they came in formations. Multiple fighters, different altitudes, different attack angles. The plan was simply surround the Falcon, overwhelm it with numbers. They believed no aircraft could survive so many threats. What they didn't understand was that the F-16 never fought alone. The Falcon's real weapon, the most dangerous part of the F-16, was not its engine or missiles. It was situational awareness. Inside the cockpit, The pilot didn't just see the sky, he saw the entire battlefield. Radar data, enemy positions, altitude and speed calculations, all processed instantly. The jet didn't just show information, it explained it. The pilot always knew who was above, who was below, who was a threat, and who wasn't. In air combat, confusion means death. The F-16 eliminated confusion. The first major clash on one mission, a small group of F-16s encountered a much larger enemy formation. They were outnumbered. The enemy carried heavier weapons. Ground control issued warnings. Multiple fast contacts approaching. Inside the cockpit, a silence. No panic, only planning. The leader's voice came over the radio. Stay tight. Brake only on my command. The sky turned into a chessboard. Mastering the vertical fight, enemy pilots expected a horizontal dogfight. Circular turns, endless maneuvering. Instead, the F-16 climbed, straight up. High angle. Engines roaring. Heavy enemy jets followed and made their fatal mistake. Their speed dropped. Their engines struggled. The F-16 remained in control. Then it dove. Gravity restored its speed. The angle became perfect. The enemy was now below, the hunter above, the prey beneath. Group victory missiles launched together. The sky filled with flashes. One ta a broken bar. 3 enemy contacts vanished from radar. The remaining jets broke formation and fled. In air combat, once formation collapses, the battle is already lost. The F-16s did not pursue. The message had been delivered. Numbers mean nothing without intelligence. Fear becomes doctrine soon. The F-16 became more than a threat, it became a scenario. Enemy briefings warned, if you encounter an F-16, avoid dogfighting. Because the Falcon didn't just react, it anticipated. And anticipation wins wars. The night hunter, many jets lose their advantage at night. The F-16 gained 1. Darkness, low visibility, confusion. Enemy pilots relied on eyesight. The F-16 relied on sensors, infrared tracking, radar locks, silent approaches. By the time alarm sounded, it was already too late. A different kind of dogfight during one night mission. An enemy jet attempted a surprise attack. Low altitude, heavy clouds, sudden appearance. For a brief moment, it looked like the Falcon was trapped. Then came a maneuver only the F-16 could perform. An extreme roll, a sharp climb, an instant reversal. The enemy pilot never realized the situation he had flipped. When he looked back, the Falcon was behind him. Silent, stable, deadly, winning the mind even when no jet was destroyed. The F-16 achieved something critical: a psychological dominance. Enemy pilots overreacted. They wasted fuel. They broke formation. All because they believed the Falcon was nearby. Fear became half a victory. Hawks learned to flee over time. Enemy tactics became defensive. They avoided engagement. They planned escape routes, which meant one thing: their confidence was broken. A pilot who only thinks about survival has already lost the battle. A legend takes shape. Reports followed. After action analyses were written, each one reached the same conclusion: the F-16's agility, awareness, and pilot-machine harmony redefined air combat. This wasn't just technology. It was philosophy. As years passed and technology advanced, a new narrative began to spread. Fifth-generation fighters entered service. Stealth became the new obsession. Bigger budgets, more complex systems. Many believed the era of the F-16 was over. They said it was outdated. They said it belonged to the past. They said the future had no place for it. But the Falcon was never built to follow trends. It was built to survive reality. Adaptation over retirement. Unlike many aircraft that fade with time, the F-16 evolved. It did not disappear from the battlefield. It adapted to it. New radar systems gave it longer eyes. Advanced sensors allowed it to see through darkness and weather. Modern weapons turned it into a precision strike platform. The Falcon was no longer just a dogfighter. It became a multi-role warrior. Air-to-air combat, air-to-ground strikes, close air support, night operations, one aircraft, many missions. And it performed each with discipline and reliability. The pilot's aircraft. Ask any pilot who has flown the F-16, and you will hear the same thing: this jet feels alive. The Falcon was not designed to overpower its pilot with complexity. It was designed to support human instinct. The cockpit gave pilots clarity, not confusion. The aircraft responded instantly, smoothly, naturally. In combat, this connection mattered. When decisions had to be made in fractions of a second, the Falcon never hesitated. It listened, it obeyed, it protected. And in the sky, Trust is everything. Psychological dominance. The true strength of the F-16 was not limited to destroyed targets. It lived in the minds of enemy pilots. Over time, encounters with the Falcon followed a familiar pattern. Confidence turned into caution. Aggression turned into hesitation. Pilots no longer sought the fight. They tried to avoid it. Because they understood something critical. The F-16 did not need numbers. It did not need intimidation. It needed only opportunity. And once that opportunity appeared, it rarely missed. Changing air combat philosophy. The Falcon didn't just win battles. It changed how battles were fought. Air forces around the world began to rethink their designs. Agility became as important as speed. Pilot-centric cockpits replaced rigid layouts. Situational awareness became a priority. Even aircraft built to counter the F-16 learned from it. That is the mark of true dominance. When your enemy begins to copy your ideas, you have already won. Still relevant in a modern sky even today, in an era of stealth and artificial intelligence, the F-16 remains active across the world. Why? Because wars are not fought on paper, they are fought under pressure. And under pressure, reliability matters more than theory. The Falcon is cost-effective, easy to maintain, quick to deploy. When nations need a proven aircraft, they still turn to the F-16, not because it is new but because it is trust. Today. Symbol in the sky. Imagine a quiet evening, the sun sinking toward the horizon, and high above, a single F-16 cutting through the air. No alarms, no missiles. Just flight. In that moment, the Falcon is no longer a weapon, it is a symbol, a reminder that perfection is not about excess, it is about balance, speed and control, power and precision, technology and human skill. The true meaning of the Falcon. The F-16 taught the world a lesson that still holds true. Strength is not measured by size. Dominance is not achieved by fear alone. Victory belongs to those who adapt, those who think faster, and those who trust the bond between human and machine. That is why, even after decades, the Falcon still commands respect. Final words. When the F-16 takes to the sky, it carries more than fuel and weapons. It carries history, it carries experience, it carries a reputation earned through real combat. And as long as Falcons continue to fly, the message remains unchanged. The sky is not ruled by the loudest machine, it is ruled by the smartest.